Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hi everyone, welcome back to the another video. Today in this video, we are going to learn the most important topic of GST, which is GST set off. This topic is very important for examination point of view as well as in your practical life whenever you will work on GST. At that time, this topic will be helpful for you. Okay, see here. First of all, we will understand the theoretical portion. What are the procedures of GST set off and how is to be conducted? Let us see here. Output IGST. As we know that there are three types of GST: IGST, CGST, and SGST. At the time of purchase of any material, we pay the amount of GST to the government or any other third party. In this situation, input GST account will be opened. It may be input IGST, it may be input CGST and SGST. But at the time of sale of any goods or services, we collect the amount of GST from the customer. This GST will be treated as the output GST. It may be also the CGST, SGST and IGST. So here we will have two types of GST broadly. First category is output GST and second category will be input GST. Now what we have to do, we have to set off the output GST amount with the input GST amount. It means whatever you have collected from the customer and whatever you had paid to the government, both these amount will be set off together, and the balance amount, it may be receivable or it may be payable. This balance amount, if it is receivable, then the government, from the government you will receive this amount, and if it is payable, then you will pay this amount to the government. These are the formulas. With the help of this formula or procedure, we will set off the GST. Output IGST. First of all, we have to set off the output IGST amount, and the output IGST amount would be set off with input IGST amount. First of all, if it is remaining, if output IGST is more, then we have to use the input CGST amount also for set of this, and input SGST amount also. And if input IGST amount is more than the output IGST amount, it means input IGST balance will be remaining here, and this input IGST balance will be used for set off of output CGST and output SGST. That has been mentioned here also, input IGST and input IGST. So first of all, the output IGST amount will be set off with the input IGST amount. Later on, we can use the balance amount of input CGST and input SGST also. Now coming to the next, output CGST would be set off with input CGST. Later on, input IGST if any balance is remaining. And next, output SGST would be set off with input SGST and input IGST also if there is any remaining balance. So these are the formulas or procedures of GST set off. Now here is an example. With the help of this example, we will understand the GST set off procedure. Let us see here. This is the format that we will use for GST set off. Here the output GST balance and input GST balance is given. Input GST balance 6 lakh, 2 lakh and 2 lakh. Output GST balance 5 lakh, 1 lakh 50,000 and 1 lakh 50,000. So first of all, we have to write the output GST balance, because we have to set off the input GST balance with the output GST balance. So first of all, we will write the output GST amount, and the output GST balance is how much? 5 lakh IGST, then 1 lakh 50,000 CGST and 1 lakh 50,000 SGST. This output balance is the minus balance because we have collected this output GST amount from our customer which has not been paid to the government. And input GST balance is the positive balance, plus balance, which we have already paid to the government or any third party behalf of the government. Here first of all we will set off the output GST balance, IGST balance, with input IGST balance. We will write here less set off with input IGST. How much? 6 lakh. This CGST and SGST will be as it is. Balance amount we will write here. How much the balance amount would be here? Here 5 lakh is the output balance and input balance is how much? 6 lakh. It means 1 lakh the input balance would be here. You can write here 1,50,000 and 1,50,000 as it is. Now what we have to do? We have to use this input IGST balance to set off the input CGST. Set off input IGST against output CGST. Here this will be the minus and here this will be the plus and this will be as it is. Now what would be the balance amount? Here IGST amount would be nil here and 50,000 would be the CGST balance and 1,50,000 would be the SGST balance as it is. Now we will set off the input CGST balance or SGST balance with the output CGST and SGST balance. This is the balance amount. Next, less set off output CGST and SGST against input CGST and SGST. How much the balance of CGST and SGST was? 2 lakh and 2 lakh. You will write here 2 lakh and 2 lakh. 1,50,000 would be here plus and 50,000 would be here plus. This is the balance amount. If the balance amount is positive, it means this is the receivable amount. And if the balance amount is in negative, it means this is the payable amount. Here the concept of receivable and payable means you had already paid the government more amount of GST than you have collected from the customer less amount of GST. So this is all about this GST set off.